My husband did take pictures of me. I was just sitting by the bed, right? And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just nursing her, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm carrying a bolster. The baby's in bed.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know whether I was hallucinating or anything because I was like lack of sleep, right? Okay. Do you always want to be a mom?
Wow.
Yes,
Of
actually.
course. I used to say that I wanted like a football team.
Wow.
Like, I love kids. I love kids a lot.
I've always wanted to be a young mom because, I think being young, you are able to connect to your child better and you will enable yourself to have more children in the future too. Yeah.
When I found out that I was pregnant at 25, I wasn't married, I wasn't engaged, so it was a very sudden thing.
Yeah.
Back then, I was schooling. When the doctor told me when my estimated delivery date would be, right, it's the month of my FYP. So I had to either stop schooling, focus on my pregnancy, or I just gonna go through everything. It's just a lot of things emotionally wise, I wasn't prepared. I don't know how people are gonna see me. How am I gonna earn money? Am I financially ready? Because I had school, I had work. Abortion just came to me. It's just should I? Is it better for me? Now when I look at Jaden, right, can you imagine he's not here with me? Yeah, it could have been, Yeah, I'm just glad that I didn't.
I guess the point where I actually knew I wanted to be a mom was when I actually lost my first baby. What I had was a miscarriage when the heartbeat wasn't there anymore. And it was very hard to hear because you have so many things going on in your head, what's going on? We had a baby just yesterday and now we have no heartbeats. Finding out that we were pregnant again, I was living in fear almost every week. So I don't think we even talk about doing up the nursery or anything like that until the 3rd trimester. Holding her and being able to call myself a mom at that moment was something I knew I've always wanted to be. And I think being given that second chance made me realize how much goes into loving someone.
I think being on the wheelchair, right, it won't stop me from being a mama. Yeah, because it's a dream that I have. I can conceive, I can have my own kids, why not? Although there's a lot I cannot do, but I want to be a mom. A mom that can feel my husband and my daughter's stomach, they won't go hungry when I'm around. Now I'm pregnant with another baby boy. I'm 20 weeks old now, so yeah. I always had this dream. I will carry my baby and then I will bring her for hiking. This is one of my dreams. Yeah, but I still have that dream of bringing my baby for hiking. It's something that can never be removed from my heart. So, yeah, but as of now, I feel, I'm really this state, right? So, for me now, I feel that what I can do is plan for a future. I think that's the best I can do.
What was the hardest part of being a first-time mom?
I would say, I think not only a first-time mom, but I think every mom would agree with me, the night wakings.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, I cannot imagine having a newborn again. Because it really is so tiring. They wake up maybe 1-2 hours and they're up and you're like, again, here we go again. You're very lack of sleep. My husband did take pictures of me. I was just sitting by the bed, right? And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just nursing her, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm carrying a bolster. The baby's in bed.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it was I don't know whether I was hallucinating or anything because I was lack of sleep, right? I think we put ourselves to be 24/7 with the child because definitely 9 months we're carrying them and we feel responsible for bringing this child up.
My son, during the first month, he actually had liver infection. He had to go through operation. So it was very painful for me and he was only 1 month old. I think I blame myself a lot, oh, I gave birth to him and then he has to go through all this, you know. But then my mom told me this, he's not gonna remember all this. So don't blame yourself, you know. So it's things like that, you know, you need to find your support.
I think I was aware that I was on the brim of potential postpartum when I was exhausted. And when you're exhausted, you kind of take it out on the people you love, you know. There was one point when I think my husband was about to go to work and I didn't know where all these emotions were coming from. But I locked myself in a room with her and I was just crying. But luckily my husband was there knocking. I'm here, you're not alone, just come out. If you need to cry and break down, let it out. Don't put it on the baby. I took a breath and then I opened the door and I'm like, can you take her? And then yeah, so I just took that time to cry because it's okay to cry. Hormones is no joke, it just really messes you up. Having people around me to remind myself who I used to be and what I'm capable of being as a mum was a very important factor for me to get out of that.
The challenge of being on a wheelchair and being a first-time mum is really painful, I can say. For me, it's very hurtful because a lot of things I cannot do for her. Just the basic one, showering her. Because I don't have the balancing, so when showering her, right, it's very, very dangerous. When she's younger, she will like ask me to go down on the floor and all these things. I was like, I can, Mama can get down, but I cannot come back up again, you know? It's very tough, I can say. I cry a lot. I cried so much. I keep blaming myself that there's a lot of things that I cannot give it to her. But the next moment I just tell myself, I just have to learn how to accept it. I think that in your life there's no regret. It means that you've tried. It will be easier for me for my second pregnancy for this time to compare to the first one, because first one a lot of things that I don't dare to do, but this time around I know that what I can do.
What was the most difficult sacrifice to make? I think with my job, I used to travel quite a lot. All that had to be put on a stop. Making the transition from being in a regional role to a local role, I did feel like I've lost a part of me. Mentally, it felt as though it was demoting myself to something that I could have done, years ago.
I went back to work after maternity leave, and definitely as a preschool teacher, I'm taking care of other people's children. I do feel a sense of guilt that I leave my child at home. And then when you go home, you do have to just be present with your child. So sometimes if I'm too tired, I can get to work a bit more cranky than I usually am. But you do really just have to hold yourself together. And I think this is something that my colleagues taught me to. Just focus on what you need to do at home, and then when you come back to work, rather than just trying to struggle between both and you're not present anywhere.
I have to confess that I was quite a night girl. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I do love drinking. I love hanging out with friends. It was my life back then, the teenager life, right? But right now it's not just me time, it's me and Jaden time, And I don't see it as a bad thing. Even my friends, right, when they tell me things like, wow, you changed a lot, it makes me feel happy to hear that, because maybe I was just quite a rabak girl last time. Now that I have people telling me that I mature a lot and you change a lot, it makes me feel a lot better as a person. Oh, actually life like that isn't that bad.
I think my husband sacrificed a lot. A lot of things I cannot do for her. I cannot do with her. But he's standing in for me. As a mother, I think to me it's not sacrifices. It's just when you love and then you just give.
I remembered how difficult it was for my mom to be around back then with her job with me. I love my mom a lot, but I did wish she was around more. So that always reminded me of what I didn't want to be. What sacrifice would I then make for my child? I think it's very important that she knows I'm there physically. One day she'll look back and be like, Mommy was there,
I would say like the sacrifices that you make, 5 years later you wouldn't even remember it. The time that you give up, things that you miss doing, you can always do it when they're older, but you can never replace like these moments that you spend with them and just watching them achieve whatever milestones, like little or big.
Do you think you are a good mom?
Oh, it's so tough.
Would I say if I'm a good mom? I hope so. But I don't know why every time someone asks you that question, you don't really know the answer to it.
I think I am an acceptable mom. I would say good lah. Nobody's perfect lah. Like maybe from your eyes, when I'm holding my husband's hand and he's pushing a pram and then we go out like, wow. Good ah, this family, not bad ah, But the standard inside me, I feel I can do a bit more.
There will never be like a good day every day. Sometimes some moments are definitely tough and you just kind of just want to break down and cry. I do have moments myself where I'm just like, I don't think I can do this anymore. But you just look at your child and you tell yourself, okay, let's try again tomorrow, let's try again. Mistakes and struggles wouldn't make you a bad mom because mistakes and struggles is where you learn.
Just live through all those moments because you're never ever gonna get those moments back. Every struggle that you face as a mom, those are part of the journey. There should never be a doubt in yourself of whether you're a good mom or not because at the end of the day, you're gonna be giving the best that you can to them.
For me, I'm transiting to like a single mom. So, I mean, it's definitely a different phase that I'm going through. I don't know how Jaden is going to see me as a mom next time. I don't know. Is he going to blame me? I have thoughts like that, like my mom is like a great mom. Like she said that, like no matter what, right? Always remember mommy loves you. It's like the unconditional love of a mother. And it's something that I want to portray to Jaden. I want to show Jaden as well.
It's tough to be a mom. It's tough. I feel that you just need to trust yourself that you can do it and you always try your best to do it. It makes me feel very proud to be a wheelchair mom.
Kisses?
You.
I love you, mommy.
Thank you.